was when my room was next to her. There was the occasional time that I saw her going into her room before session. What's the phrase? Digging for gold? Hello and welcome. I'm Narelle Diamond, the Massaging Geek. We're family here. It's absolutely okay if you want to call me Rel. Just, be nice with other things that you may call me. Today I'm here to tell you a story. What's the story, you may ask? It's the story of the worst massage I've ever received that I can remember. We'll put it that way. I guarantee you I've had worse massages than this. I've certainly given some creepy massages with some creepy clients, but as far as ones that I've received, this one changed how I did things permanently. But without further ado, let me introduce you to the characters. There is me, Rel. Hi, nice to meet you. The next one is Denise. Denise is the massage therapist who is giving the practical. And then, of course, there's the owners, but they're barely in the story, so we don't have to worry about them much. Denise. Denise. Obviously, names have been changed to protect the innocent and the not so innocent. Disclaimer, this is just something that happened to me. This is my experience with this particular massage therapist at this point in her life. Obviously, everybody changes, everybody grows, everybody makes mistakes. I make plenty of them. Feel free to laugh at me when they happen. But I don't want this to reflect badly on her, especially not as a person, or on the institution, because in all honesty, it wasn't their fault. They didn't have anything to do with it. So, I created further ado. Okay, without further ado, let me give you a visual of Denise. Denise was one of those massage therapists that would come into work as if she had just fallen out of bed with yesterday's bun, no makeup on, her boyfriend's t-shirt, and probably some basketball shorts, and just crawled her way into work. That was her. Everybody's different. When she rocked up to the spa with that, wearing that for the interview, you know how they say that people will tell you who they are right away? She told you who she was right away, and that was who she was until the day she left. The owners wanted as many people to be able to do hot stones as possible, so anybody who was willing to take the training, and of course anybody who was willing to be a guinea pig, were absolutely welcome to step forward and do so. So Denise did the hot stone training. She learned all of the do's and don'ts. The differences between her training and my training, there was actually someone there to break down what to do and what not to do. By this point in the game, the owners didn't care. They were like, oh, you can just watch a video, you can learn from that. So that's what happened. Then it came time for her to do the practicals. And in this case, she needed to give 6. I'm pretty sure it was 3 massage therapists, 2 SAs, and 1 owner in order to determine whether or not she was ready to do hot stones on clients. She wasn't. Oh, wait, that was the end of the story. Let me go ahead and tell you the rest of the story. I came in on my day off. Because that's just how nice of a person, that's how stupid of a person I am. I came in on my day off. We did this little role play thing, mostly to teach her how to talk to somebody who's never had a hot stone before. She broke character many, many times, not knowing what to say or asking me questions as far as hot stone goes because she couldn't remember the information from the video. Gee, I wonder why. Maybe learning from a video isn't the best. I'm going to shut up. I need to give you some breakdown on what should be happening. The protocol for this particular spa's hot stones was you laid a full-size bath towel on the back. Then you put big stone, little stone, little stone, little stone, little stone, little stone, little stone. Then you put hot, wet towel, and wrap the whole thing to make it into a giant tattoo. Giant cocoon that then lays on the person's back while you're working on everything else. That way when you get to the back is all nice and squishy for you. That's not what happened here. Whenever I'm receiving a practical, especially if it's a training practical, I don't tell them what they're doing wrong because my job is just to assess how are they doing. She started at the feet and she did not create the cocoon on the back. I did ask her though, I'm like, did you bring a large towel? And she said, oh no, I don't need one. Okay. She starts working on my legs. And at this point, I start to feel a wetness. I need a water wetness, or I'm assuming it's water, that's being sprinkled on my legs. So my very innocent brain is thinking that maybe when she's pulling the stones from the water, somehow she's getting water on her hands and she's just like on my leg as she's massaging me. So she goes from working on my legs to working on my back. She pulls the sheet down, she tucks it under, and I'm expecting to feel a big heavy towel laid out on my back. Instead of feeling her placing the towel on my back, I hear her going to the hot stone unit and pulling out a stone. But instead of her very smoothly walking over to the table, she's hot potatoing the stone back and forth between her hands because it's too hot for her to hold. And then she places it oh so gently on my extremely sensitive low back. I was very calm. I said, that stone is too hot to be there. Could you please remove it? And she said, oh, no, don't worry. It'll cool down. Okay, but it's still too hot on my skin. Oh, it'll cool off though. And she's at the unit pulling another stone out. And again, hot potatoing it back and forth. The unit should not have been hot enough for her to need to hot potato it. It's supposed to only be at 125 degrees Fahrenheit. If it's too hot for me to hold, I'm not using it on a person. This was a theory that she did not adopt. She used me as the cooler. So as she's going to put the next stone on my back, I said, please remove the stone. It's too hot. And she said, but it'll cool off. I reached behind and I knocked the stone off of my back. At this point, I'm pretty sure we were smelling charred meat, but she completely ignored it, probably because her nose was always stuffed. Anyway, just a other remembrance of her. So she says, wait, what happened? I said, I knocked the stone off my back. She's like, but why? I said, because it was too hot. Please cool them off before you put them on me. That's a sensitive part of my back. Oh, but they're going to cool off. I don't remember my response to that, but she didn't put the stones on me again. That spot had a welt on it for about 3 weeks, and then the skin started peeling. It's exactly like a regular first-degree burn. Thanks for that. It's also at this point, while she's working on my left side, that I notice the sprinkling sensation again. And it dawns on me that it matches with the words coming out of her mouth. Yeah, I was being spit showered. Is that, can I call it spit showered? I was being spit showered during the session. I genuinely did need to go to the bathroom, so I asked if it was okay if we took a break so I could go to the bathroom and come back, completely with the full intention of hopefully scraping some of the spit off of my back without having to take a full shower. When I'm done with the bathroom and I come back into the room, she says, well, we'll go ahead and go to face up. So when you get on the table, just get on the table face up. She hadn't worked on my right side. I'm right side dominant, which means my right side is the stressed side. For anybody who's not a massage therapist, let me explain. You have 2 twins, and these twins, both everything is equally divided between them, but sometimes one is a little more emaciated than the other. Well, let's say that you also have 2 caramel apples, and you give one caramel apple to the non-emaciated twin. Well, the emaciated twin, who is, obviously craving something, thinks that you're going to be giving them a caramel apple because he sees that you've given it to his twin. So he's waiting and waiting and waiting in anticipation, but you don't give him the apple. Instead, you sit the apple down in complete plain sight for him to be able to view, but you don't give it to him. That usually leads to a temper tantrum with lots of screaming and kicking and probably things being flown through the air at your head. So that's what happens when you give a twin one thing and you don't give it to the other one. They're going to pitch a fit, which is exactly what happened in my back. As soon as I laid back on that table and I was face up, my right was spasming, trying to let me know that it wanted the candy apple, but she didn't give it the candy apple. So I spent 2 or 3 days back spasming because she didn't work on it. Was that my fault? Yeah, probably. I probably should have said something to her and said, I understand this is a practical and it's probably outside of what I should be saying, but please work on my right side because I don't want it to be a screaming baby at me. We finished the practical. I get off the table. I go and write my report. That same day, one of the owners just happened to be there, the female of the 2. So I went and handed her the report, and she looks it over, and she looks at me, and she's like, this actually happened? And I said, yes. Do you think she cared? I do think she was concerned at the fact that I was burned. And I am pretty sure that I showed her the burn so she could see that I had in fact been burned. And I'm not just talking about there was a little bit of pink skin. I mean, there was an actual welt that was forming because of this stone. How freaking hot did she have the stones? For crying out loud. The owner took this all into advisement. So Denise wound up going through practicals over and over and over again with the attempt at trying to get it right. And of course, to protect the massage therapist, I think maybe to protect the massage therapist, or maybe it's just that she had no problem speaking up during the practical. She and her partner were the ones that were getting the practicals done with another massage therapist in the room. Seriously, when I tell you, she went through probably 5 different practicals and was horrible during all of them. Finally, the owners were like, you know what? It's fine. You don't do hot stones. We're okay with you not doing hot stones. We'll just count this as a loss. I'm hoping that Denise got better. Wait, no, I'm remembering the rest of the story. Well, there were other issues with Denise, one of which was when my room was next to her. There was the occasional time that I saw her going into her room before session. What's the phrase? Digging for gold. And there was no sink in that treatment room, which means that, I mean, she wasn't the most disgusting therapist, but she was pretty freaking close. So that's the story of how I hate getting practicals. That wasn't the last one that I ever got, that's for sure. I don't even remember how many I've received over the years, but that was definitely one of the most memorable and the most long-lasting of them. Not in a good way. Well, if you like this kind of storytelling and you're enjoying the massage, learning a little bit of the behind the scenes with massage, feel free to subscribe and become a massaging geek. We're pretty awesome people, not gonna lie. And before you step out, I just want to say, we all have a spark inside of us. And that spark is unique to us. We all bring something to the world that nobody else can. Always let your light shine. Feel free to check out my video where I review massage client stories and get a little bit scarred by it. Remember to drink water. Okay, love you. Bye-bye.